Welcome in. Boy, howdy. GME just made the announcement that they are going to be adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. We've been talking about this for a while. I've been going to be kind of an indicator to the market that we're heading into one of the theories that I think is going to take place. And I think we're going to see a stock market mania. Don't worry, I still think we're going to see an altcoin season, but I think we're going to see a stock market mania in the context of an altcoin season. And the reason is we're kind of setting up for that .com boom, that .com bubble. So back in the early 2000s, actually 2000 was the top of the .com boom. So I guess late 90s. There was this phenomenon where every company that just decided to make a website, all they needed to do was make a website, their share value would go through the roof. And we're setting up a similar thing right now where a company who might be floundering, might not be, making the amount of gains that the investors want to see, maybe their share values in a downtrend, whatever the case may be. They now have the opportunity to simply add like a 5% allocation into Bitcoin and watch their share value go up 20, 30, 40, 50, 100%. This is a catalyst for a complete stock market mania. And I think Gamestop is starting this whole thing right now with this announcement. I just released a video. It was plugged in, ready to go, because like I said, I've been expecting this to happen for a while. So I've already pre-recorded the video weeks ago, and just released that now that it's time pertinent. And in that video, I go through kind of the progression of what could potentially happen as far as large players moving towards this kind of treasury adoption of Bitcoin on the balance sheet for these US equities, US and global equities. But anyways, let's take a look at what it has done to price. Not much. It hasn't really done much at all. Before we get too into the analysis, let me just check the stream, make sure we're looking good. Let's check the live stream over here. All right. 3 people joining in on YouTube. That's not very much. That's not very much. Am I not sending data appropriately? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if I'm coming through loud and clear. Let me know if the video is choppy. Let me know any of that info so that I can identify any problems. All right. All right, so Bitcoin. Let's turn on alphanumetrics. That's our momentum indicator. We have gotten above the 200. That's what we want to see. We're above the 200. We're coming down maybe for a retest of the 200, but we already kind of did test it. So if we did test, I'd probably anticipate a higher low, but we could totally get that higher low right here and reclaim the 7. The day is young. We're going to have to see how this plays out. But, effectively what we're looking at here is a bull flag. So let's just mark that out. So we've got this flagpole and we've got the flag formation, kind of a pennant. Yeah, we're looking at a pennant. Potential pennant. We need to rally off of this level. If we rally off of this, we'll probably just continue rather quickly. So if we rally off this level, we'll probably get a breakout and then continuation. Continuation target for a bull flag is to take the flagpole and move it to the breakout. So that would bring us, conservatively to 92 and with the extended target up to 93, 94 for that bull flag. But we need this area to hold right here. So if we don't, then we'll probably come down to something like this. maybe even, you know, an extension down here and retest the 30. 30 is currently sitting at 85.8. So that's a possibility, but keep in mind, we do have support here at the 200. You can see the support here at the 200. The top of this red wave is our support. So we do have some support holding us up. We have the 200 and we have the 30. And we have the possibility of just reclaiming the 7. And now the 7 is our support as well. So we'll have to see how this day plays out, whether we reclaim the 7 or not. Mauricio, all good? Good. Paula FPFs, hello, how's it going? Welcome to the live stream. Let's go down to the smaller time frames and see what Bitcoin's doing. Not looking as bullish on the smaller time frames. We do have all of the moving averages curling down. So we have some overhead resistance on the smaller time frames. Let's take a look at the weekly, actually. We haven't taken a look at the weekly in a while. So I need to always go to a different chart on the weekly because the index chart just renders really weird on the weekly. And it looks like we got a rejection right at the 7. So the 7 weekly moving average is currently our resistance, but we have reclaimed the 30 week. And the 30 week is sitting at 84.9. So $85,000, there's a lot of support around $85,000. You know, on all the different time frames, we're seeing a lot of the moving averages kind of line up at that level. So 85 is looking okay as a support if we need to consolidate a little bit. But yeah, the level to clear right now is 89. If we can get above 89, that's going to get us above the 7 week moving average. And anytime Bitcoin is on top of our fastest moving average, which is the 7 week, we usually get a pretty good rally. So you can see here consolidating with the 7 week, consolidating with the 7 week. When it finally got above it, we were able to hold above it and kind of get a pretty significant rally, you know, with a little bit of dip below, but you always give those time to see how they shake out. So basically that rally on top of the 7 got us, you know, 185% move. Now, the other thing to take in mind, or the other thing to consider is the phantom signal that came in. So these are very powerful signals. These phantom signals on Bitcoin are super powerful and they're often right. Now, there's often a dip. You know, full disclosure, there's often a dip after the phantom signal comes in. I'll make the phantom signal a little easier to see. It's these purple candles. So if you have the alphanumerics indicator, we have these purple candles here. This is the phantom signal. And basically it represents a weekly EXA cross. And those are great. Now, they have a dip, but they usually result in a large rally overall. So kind of not the greatest signal if you're going to be trading futures contracts, but certainly a very good signal if you're going to be in the spot markets. So 34% move here on that phantom signal. And if we go to the top of this phantom signal, this one was a banger. And I'll get to why I'm talking about the phantom signals in just a moment. So we go to the close of that phantom signal to the peak. That was 110% move on that. We got another beautiful phantom signal here at the close. Again, it dips, so be prepared for that. And that got us to a 60% move, 60% move. The reason I'm bringing it up is because there's a potential for this weekly candle to close as a phantom signal. So if we get that phantom signal closing either this week or next week, there's a phantom signal coming. Like I said, it's an EXA cross. Let's actually pull up the EXA so you can see. Where is the EXA? I always just use the phantom signal. I don't actually look at the... All right, forget it. I don't know where it is. But it's brewing. It's brewing. So let's take a look at how this is affecting the rotation. We've been monitoring the rotation of altcoins. Everybody wants to know, when is it altcoin season? When is it altcoin season? And if you've been subscribed to the channel for a while, you will know that we have maintained the opinion that altcoin season hasn't happened yet. We've seen these little cycles. Don't get me wrong. We've seen meme coin cycles. We've seen ordinal cycles. We've seen D-pin cycles, WA cycles. So there's been little cycles throughout the bull market thus far. But altcoin season is when, there's a mania. It's a mania and everything goes up. And I think, like I said at the beginning of the show, I think this altcoin season is going to be fueled by a stock market mania as a result of Bitcoin being added to so many balance sheets. Where's everybody joining in today? What time is it? I'm in Dubai now. It's not the greatest time zone for North America. It's getting kind of late for the North American peeps. But let me know where you're joining in from. All right, let's take a look at this rotation. So we'll go to Bitcoin dominance on the weekly. It's declining, but again, what are we looking for? As we've said multiple times here on the channel, we're looking for a break out of this channel. As soon as we break out of this channel, it's altcoin season. Boom, right here. Altcoin season starts, altcoin season ends. It's really going to be that simple. So be prepared and be level-headed, because when this happens, it's going to happen quick. It's going to be extremely exciting. You're going to think it's going to go on forever, and it won't. So be prepared. When Bitcoin dominance begins to cross kind of that 55% mark, that's going to be a very strong indicator to the market that, boom, we are in altcoin season. We are ready to rally. And as soon as it gets down to about 40, it's done. We can see this based off of the pattern. We do have a pattern, a macro pattern here on Bitcoin dominance. Let me kind of illustrate that a little clearer. I mean, if we're assuming that's the top here, it would be something like this. Which means the altcoin season will look something like this. And it'll really be that quick. It'll be so quick. It'll be 1, 2, maybe 3 like super strong impulses in altcoins. And when I say super strong, I mean like hundreds of percent per week per altcoin, particularly at the top. At the last week, everything will probably double. It's very, very fast. Fast and furious, baby. Fast and furious. Excuse me. All right, let's see what's going on with stream. The chat seems a little light. 10 people watching on Twitter. 14 people on YouTube. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on YouTube, and share this if you would be so kind. Retweet this. We're some of the first people to put video content out in regards to this GameStop move. All right, so that's kind of how the rotation is doing. Let me delete some of this stuff that I no longer need. So the rotation's looking okay. Let's take a look at some of the top alts that we think are going to perform well. And we'll start off with XRP. I am an XRP bear, full disclosure. You can choose to hate me for that, but hey, I'm here for you. I'm here to let you know how things progress in the market. And if you are an XRP bull, I have plenty of bullish things to talk about, even though ultimately I I don't think that there's longevity to XRP, but don't let that sway your opinions. Don't get blinded by anger at some Bitcoin maxi telling you that he doesn't think XRP is going to work out. We're in a bull market. This thing's going to rip. This thing's going to rip. So let's see, right now I'm focusing on the Bitcoin pair for XRP. We're right under this resistance. This is killer resistance, by the way. This resistance has been intact, not for multiple cycles. This was last cycle's high. XRP has not done much at all, but it has done a ton of accumulation here. And if it can break out of this range, there's no telling what it can do. High. XRP has not done much. A ton. If it can telling what it can. What is XRP on the dollar pair? I've been focusing so much on the Bitcoin pair because that's that I don't even know what the price is in dollars. 244. 244. This thing could easily 10x. It can easily 10x if it breaks out of this. And honestly, in the face of a full blown market mania that's leaking into the stock market, if we see a stock market mania, you better believe we are going to capture a lot of Wall Street liquidity coming into this market as well. And we could be setting up for a massive market overall. When it's like free marketing. Bitcoin is marketing to the stock market and saying, hey, look, we've got blockchain, we've got DeFi, come over here, and you're going to see all of these people FOMO into alts. GME is just buying BTC or other crypto. I highly doubt they're going to be buying anything. BTC is where all the clarity is. That's where the neutrality is. And it's where the least amount of volatility is. Listen, Wall Street's using this as a strategy. They are trying to capture a narrative. They're not in it to try and make money on the underlying asset. They're in it to try and make money on the share value. So, are they going to be buying more volatile altcoins and putting it on their balance sheet? Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely because they're too volatile, and that can have too much of a detrimental effect on the share value in the bear markets. They're just gonna touch Bitcoin. They're gonna put Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and they know that for every 5% of Bitcoin, that can equate to 50% of share value. They're not going to be degenerates with the assets themselves. What they care about is their company's stock share value. So I don't see that taking place. Ordinals, a stealth play with GME buying. I think ordinals are definitely a play. We'll be covering some ordinal tickers in just a moment. I've maintained that stance the entire bull market. If you were in the community, you were minting runes, you were minting BRC20 tokens, you were minting ordinals, you were minting UNATs. You've got a massive altcoin portfolio in the ordinals space for free. So shout out to my blockchain explorers in the private group who were minting these things. We were some of the first people. We were some of the first people in the market to be getting our hands on this stuff. It was nothing. People were so confused. We did bitmaps and we didn't even know what it was. It was like, oh yeah, just type this thing to the miner and tell it that you want this block, type in this number, and then type in that number. It was so weird at the time. And everybody was like, what are you doing? This is stupid. This is nothing. You're just sending messages to the blockchain. Well, those messages turned into alts on the Bitcoin network. And we've got a healthy position in ordinals. And I don't believe that ordinals are done. I do not believe that ordinals are done. before we get too into the weeds and ordinals, let's take a look at some of the other top alts that we think are going to perform. So we took a look at XRP, Cardano. Man, these coins that I think are going to do well are surprising me because I've been incredibly bearish. If you were around in the last cycle, you know that I was bashing Cardano hard, and I called the top. I called the tippity top on Cardano and released a video saying that was the top. You can go back and check it. I don't have it, primed and ready to go to prove, but yeah, I called the tippy top of Cardano. And I'm calling the bottom here too. I'm calling the bottom. I think that this is our backup phase from a Wyckoff point of view. We have all the major Wyckoff events taking place here, and top of Cardano. And I'm calling the bottom here too. Whale selling that was just probably trying to get out of the Cardano position. They've lost their conviction, but they held a lot of Cardano. But yeah, this support range is holding, and I expect this to kind of be the area of the rally to take place. So Cardano's looking good as well. And there's already, Cardano is mentioned in the digital asset stockpile. So its ticker is being well known to the world. And if we start to get retail, stock market retail into this market, they're going to be going to Solana, XRP, and Cardano. So those ones are pretty well positioned to be the beneficiary of a mania. Speaking of Solana, that's track. Where's my Solana? Solana BTC still following this chart. I think the BTC chart is the chart to be paying attention to. So sorry if it's not showing you the prices, and if it's not showing you the structure that a lot of the other influencers are showing you. I'm going to show you what I think is the most important charts to be paying attention to. All of the other influencers, they're going to be showing you this chart, Solana USD, and this is just, it's an ugly chart. It's an ugly chart. I mean, I got this nice little bullish thing on here, but this is not the actionable chart in my opinion. The actionable chart is Solana BTC, because this represents the rotation into alts. It's not altcoin season until alts are consistently beating Bitcoin. They need to point for point, move for move. They need to consistently be beating Bitcoin. So you need to chart the Bitcoin pair. When this chart starts to break, I think it'll be quite definitive when we break this downward sloping line of resistance. So, we might rally up to here, then get some resistance. And as soon as we break out of this downward sloping line of resistance, I think that's going to be the acceleration phase. You make an entry there, and it's going to go. It's going to go really quickly, which is what you want to see. That's probably the most exciting piece of altcoin season, is just how quick you get results. You make an entry and boom, it takes off. This is why people can convince themselves that they're a genius or they're a master trader when they're trading in this very short window of easy trading called the altcoin season, because it's so easy. It's so easy. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. If you've been through this market cycle, you deserve this opportunity, and you are going to capitalize on this opportunity. If you have been through the depths of the bear market, if you came from last cycle through the depths and you paid attention to the whole thing, you deserve what's coming. But you need to be mentally prepared, because a lot of what you've experienced is pain. A lot of what you've experienced is small gains, 5% here, 10% there, 20% here. You got to go back into the mindset of what it was when you first came into the market and you were seeing stupid, ridiculous 30, 40, 60% gains in a day. And you need to remember that. You need to remember what it was like to be in that market cycle, but hold the knowledge that you acquired through the bear market and know that eventually the music will stop. This is a really exciting opportunity. And when it plays out, be ready. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. Bitcoin pairs are more important than ever with the adoption accelerating. USD valuation is noise now. It always has been. It always has been. If you're trying to accumulate value, you need to measure in something that's valuable. Everything we do in the market, we're trying to get an edge, right? We're trying to get an edge. It's very hard to get a real edge when your ruler keeps shrinking. How are you supposed to measure when every time you bust out your ruler, it's shrinking? You want to be able to capitalize on this market, so use a hard asset. Any hard asset, really. You could do the same with gold. Gold's a very hard asset. But, you know, we're in the blockchain space, so we're going to use Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the chart. John Doe, yo, what's going on, John Doe? 19 people in the chat. Hit the like, share this content, leave a comment, spam your tickers. Spam your tickers. We'll take a look at some of those. So those are the top 3 alts that I think will perform well in the context of a mania in the stock market, and a mania that will be sparked by GameStop. GameStop is definitely firing the first shot here. They are firing the first shot. Let's move into ordinals. Let's move into ordinals, and we will start off with one of our favorite BRC20 tokens, Track. Certainly not our favorite because of price action. Still horrendous price action. But this is a fundamental play. Guys, if you wanted to buy Chainlink when nobody knew what Chainlink was, do your research on Track. This is not investment advice. This is not financial advice. All I'm saying is, if you like Chainlink, if you are a Chainlink bull and you don't know what's going on with Track, you're doing yourself a disservice, because in my opinion, Track is the Chainlink of Bitcoin. And it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. It's going to be like, it's at 40 cents now. No joke. It's going to 100x. It's going to go to $4, no problem. I think it's going to go to $40, no problem. You didn't hear it from me. Not financial. Please do your own research. When somebody on YouTube said something ridiculous, and mentioning a 100x anything is ridiculous. Do I think it's possible? Yes. Do I think it's likely? I personally think that, you know, if they follow the trajectory for which I think they will, it's certainly a high enough probability for me to make it a consideration. Is it a target for me? No, it's not a target for me, and it shouldn't be a target for you either. So have a plan on how you want to trade it. There's possibilities, there's probabilities, and there's your plan. So understand that these are very different things. Like, I think it's possible for Bitcoin to reach $1 million this cycle. I think that that's a probable outcome, but it's not my plan. My plan is to follow technical indicators to determine percentage allocation. So if we get to, 200 grand and some of the technical indicators that we're following flash bearish, I'm out. My goal was a million, but I'm out at 200, really falling short of that target. So have the technical indicators to tell you when it is to get out of the asset, so that you don't find yourself being a victim of your own bias. That's some good information that I can give to you, some good value. Track had a decent pump the last couple of days. Yes, it did. So Hypermall is a new application built on Track, and it's basically, I'm not even going to sit here and tell you what it is, because I don't fully understand. I haven't dove into that yet. I'm bullish on Track. I know what Track can do, but I don't know what Hypermall does, and I don't want to misspeak. So I got to look into exactly what Hypermall is. Is Hypermall the application? Is Hypermall the the language for creating applications. I don't really know what hypermall is, but what it will allow for is DeFi on Bitcoin. So that's bullish. That's bullish. You know, the thing that everybody said is impossible to do on Bitcoin is being done on Bitcoin. Decentralized finance, liquidity pools, swap dexes, lending protocols, everything that we saw on Ethereum in the last cycle for the DeFi summer and the DeFi boom on Ethereum, all of those financial products are going to be coming to Bitcoin with the help of applications like Track and Hypermall. So very bullish on that. The gas token for Track is TAP. Where is TAP? There it is. And that one hasn't been performing. So people are less excited about the actual utility token for Track, and they're more interested in the governance token of Track. Which I share that same sentiment, honestly. I don't care. When there's a governance token that is a gas token, that's great. That's fantastic. That's Ethereum. But when they separate the two, I'm always going to be more bullish on the governance token. So Track is my pick. TAP's cool. You know, if you want to become a Track validator, a TAP validator, you can get some free TAP. I also don't like that TAP is free for the validators. So for that reason, I'm definitely focused in more on Track. Sats, blant. It had a big ass rally here. My God, that's a huge rally. Huge rally, and it just got sold off. Man, who fat fingered Sats? Look at this. Just a 50% pump, and then just went all the way back down to a 10% dump. That's ordinals, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't handle watching a 50% pump in a 3-day candle and then watching that 3-day candle close red and then have a 10% negative candle, then don't get into ordinals. These are small positions. If you're going to dabble small. I feel as though I'm massively allocated to ordinals, and when I say that, it's still less than 10% of my portfolio. I'm mostly Bitcoin. Like, I'm over 90% Bitcoin. So with all the other alts combined, including ordinals, the ordinals probably account for maybe 6 or 7%. So don't go heavy on these things. You don't need to go heavy on these things. With the right market conditions, that 5 to 6% can equate to the same value of your current 90%. So don't be greedy. You know, there's an old saying in the markets, bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. Don't be a pig. What are your thoughts on Magic Eden token? I like that they're the biggest exchange for ordinals. I don't know. I haven't really given them much thought. I haven't given it enough attention to form a fair opinion, but I can tell you what my initial reaction to that is. And this is just as a result of me being a hardcore Bitcoiner in this market for so long and seeing so many projects that are, you know, large companies. Like Magic Eden's a company. It's a full-blown, fleshed-out product. The types of money grabs that they go for. Now, again, this is totally baseless other than my own personal experiences navigating the market. But I feel like it's just a money grab, and money grabs never really have lasting value. That being said, if we are entering altcoin season, everything goes up. It doesn't matter what you pick. Throw a dart at a dartboard with a bunch of coins on it. Whatever that dart lands on, it'll do a 10x. So, you know, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Do I think Magic Eden's going to go up? Yes. Do I like the project? No. The one thing that I really like about what's happening on Bitcoin right now is it's like a grassroots movement. There's no VCs. There's no insider trading. There's no wash trading. There's no liquidity pools. There's no rug pulls. You cannot rug pull a BRC20 token. It's impossible. You can't rug pull it. Why? There's no liquidity pool. Everything works on the order book. It's impossible to rug pull. So there's a lot of things that I like about kind of like the crypto anarchist angle of these tokens. And those are the ones that I'm interested in. But I digress. I think that some of these more institutionalized tokens will absolutely perform well. And honestly, they might provide more value too, because they have professionals working on providing value for that token. I'm just kind of taking that kind of, anarchist approach. And it's been doing well so far. B-Life protocol? What the fuck is that? Is there a way to buy smaller amounts of track on Unisat? No. Always larger amounts. But what can we show you here? What can we show you? By the way, if you haven't already done so, join the free community. Join the trading community where we're sharing all of our setups, all of our altcoin theories, everything that we are doing to make money in this market. If you don't know anything about trading cryptocurrency, then you definitely want to get into this free community. Free doesn't mean there's no hoops. Okay, there's hoops. The reason we have hoops for you to jump through is there's a lot of scammers out there. We need to protect the community. So there are checks and balances in place to prevent people, the friction, we'll call it friction. There's a little bit of friction to get in. Once you're in, you're golden. But there is friction to get in. The easiest way for you to get in is to create an account on Blackbox, go into your dashboard, and then click this button, join Discord. That's the easiest way. If you go with the links below, you can do it. But the easiest way is to create an account. What was I doing? Taparoo. Swap.taparoo. So you mentioned Unisat and how the kind of buying experience for Unisat sucks. Like you have to buy whatever the user is selling. So you can't buy small amounts. Now, if you want to buy track, well, we've got track here. I believe we have track. Maybe we don't because it's not a tap token. No, we have tap. We have Gib. Gib's another one that I think will do well. Yeah, we don't have track, unfortunately, but we probably will soon. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is we're getting closer to that Uniswap user experience. You're all familiar with Uniswap or PancakeSwap or any of those kind of swap protocols where you get to choose exactly how many tokens you want to buy. And we're getting close to that. So let's say I want to get Gib and I want to buy, 100 Gib. Come on, don't glitch out on me here. Why is nothing working? Oh, it's just frozen. Let's refresh. Gib. Wow. It's just, all right. There's plenty of work to be done. You're early. When the apps don't work, you're early. Anyways, John Doe, to answer your question, is there a way to buy smaller amounts of track on Unisat? No, but there will be soon functioning applications that can help you buy other assets, and hopefully track as well. You can get Tap USDT. I don't know what that is compared to Tap. Gib DMT is another one which I think is going to do well. Nathing. Anyways, the DEXs are coming. And once they're more established, Who knows? Unisat might adopt something similar, and you might get the opportunity to buy on Unisat. Ordi's been doing shit. Ordi was kind of the leading asset in the ordinals boom, but it's not now. The only one that's doing well consistently currently is Track, and that's because it's a fundamental project. So it's good to see. That's good to see. It's nice to see that the fundamentals are taking effect on the ordinals market, because the fundamentals never really mattered on the ordinals market. But now they're beginning to look at this market from a fundamentals point of view. It's not just a shitcoin casino. There's actual fundamentals that are being developed on Bitcoin, which is, the future, in my opinion. Everything that you've seen in the market so far, in my opinion, can and will be done on Bitcoin. It's just a matter of when. That's my stance. That's my opinion. So this is kind of those early steps. This is those early steps of DeFi on Bitcoin. Taproot, nice. I'll take a look at that. For now, I have to go to a SEX. Yep. The SEXs ain't going anywhere. Not anytime soon anyways. All right, how long we've been streaming here? 40 minutes. Let me know. Spam some tickers, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, I'll wrap it up. Let's take a look at Caspa. Somebody mentioned Caspa to me on a tweet today. So let's see how it's doing. Pay attention to the Bitcoin pair. Bitcoin pair is all that matters. Ugh, it's yucky. Yuck. Yeah, nothing great there. Let's take a look just for funsies at the US dollar pair. It did the rejection exactly where we said it would. And if you got out, people were asking what's going on here. I said, we'll probably breach this. And actually, we called the bottom on this. We called this bottom in real time on the live stream. We said, that's the bottom for Caspa. And I said, we're going to rally up to the underside of this line, and that's your exit. If you followed that plan, you saved yourself a lot of money, because you're probably freaking out and you got your exit at a 50% rally, and you saved yourself from the current 50% downtrend, currently sitting at a negative 30%. Caspa's got a lot of repairing to do. I never liked this structure. Now it's playing out exactly as it should, which is as a distribution. Because the distribution has played out, what that means now, let me get my dots back. What that means now is we need to create an accumulation. And, for the Caspa bulls out there, I'm sorry to say, accumulation takes months. So we got to trade sideways for a while. When you have this distributional, formation, you at least need to take this and equalize it as an accumulation if you want to see it rally up to new highs. The timing of it is unfortunate, especially, with the bull market extending, in my opinion, to a maximum of Q3 of this year. There's not a lot of time for Caspa to accumulate. So we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, that's Caspa. Ondo BTC looking like shit. Maybe this is an oscillator. So what is an oscillator? Oscillators exist on Bitcoin pairs, not on dollar pairs. But basically what the oscillators do is there is a support, there is a resistance, and they rally into resistance and they come into support, and they just follow this pattern, until the market realizes that it's an oscillator. And once they realize that it's an oscillator, then you get into a downtrend, and then it just dies. Now, that's too early. It's too early to say that Ondo's dead, but there's not much here other than the fact that we're sitting on a support. So if you're an Ondo bull, this is the area to be bullish. If you're bullish up here, you most certainly should be bullish up down here. This is where you should be adding. If you got trapped into this, not financial advice, but you need to average down at the support level, you should be adding at this level. All right. I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to wrap it up there. So we'll just do a quick little recap here on Bitcoin. Let's go back over to our index chart. Let's see how things are developing over there on the 4 hour. So as a reminder, we need to reclaim the 7 on the 4 hour. We have the 200, the 30, and the 50 as support on the 4 hour. So we're in bullish alignment on the 4 hour. It's looking good. Now the 1 hourly is not as bullish, so we might get a little bit of chop in the current range while the 1 hour makes up its mind. And if the 1 hour wins and we get everything in bearish alignment on the moving averages, we could be looking at kind of the $85,000 level for support. As a reminder, on the weekly, 85 is very strong support because that is our 30 moving average on the weekly. 85 is strong ass support. So if we do go here on the 1 hour and you find yourself at the 200 on the 1 hour, that's a buy. That is a buy. That is extremely strong support. Be prepared for that move. And then as far as the daily looks, well, we've got beautiful two green candles here, two very strong green candles, and a doji. What does a doji mean? The doji means indecision. We don't know what the next move will be. Currently, this daily candle is red, but there's 18 hours left, 19 hours left in this candle. So plenty of price action to hit this candle, as well as the American trading session. So the American trading session can change a lot. Yeah, we're midweek. That's, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are kind of, if it's going to be bullish, those are the days in which it is bullish. Mondays are bearish, Fridays are bearish, but midweek is usually pretty good. So we'll see what the US trading session does to the price for this candle. And yeah, if we can reclaim that 7, we're trucking right along. We'll probably, at this point, because we're consolidating so closely under 91, I actually think if we do break out of this bull flag, we'll just head up to 94, 95. Ultimately, I think this is the beginning of a really large uptrend. We've kind of shaken out all of the weak hands in the market so far. Big downtrend, coming back down on the daily 200, reclaiming the daily 200 EMA. We're going to we've reclaimed the 7, we've reclaimed the 30. Our next target is to reclaim the 50. That will bring all of the moving averages into bullish alignment on the daily chart. And if we get bullish alignment on the daily chart, this bull market continues. This bull market will continue. So that's what I'm thinking. And yeah. We will see you guys in the next one. Thank you all for joining in. Don't forget to join the free trading community. Go to blackbox.pro, set up a Blackbox account, and click the join community inside of your Blackbox dashboard. That'll get you instant access into the free Discord trading community, where we're sharing all of our setups and all of our market alpha, as well as access to all of our trading bots, which are starting to, shake off this downtrend and getting some profitable trades in there. All the pussies are out. Yeah. Anyways, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you all for joining in. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, share, all the things. You know what to do. You're not new to YouTube. You know all the things. And we will see you guys in the next video. Peace.